main studio, and I swear, every morning I wake up, go to work, and it feels like a dream. And that's why I'm here, is to make sure that everybody has that opportunity. Because I think everybody deserves that. And by you being here, that shows that you have at least some passion for game design. So if that's the case, I can tell you that VFS is one of the best places for you. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to spend about 15 minutes or so telling you about my experience at VFS. I can't tell you whether it's the right decision for you, but I can tell you what I've experienced here and what I've been doing since then. And I'll leave the last 15 minutes or so for your questions. But if you don't get your questions answered here, feel free to contact me. My email is up on screen, and I also have a bunch of business cards that you can take with you when you leave today. All right, so I actually didn't come to game design through a traditional route. Previous to VFS, I probably had not had a controller in my hand since Bush Sr. was in office. I actually came to game design through teaching. I taught 4th grade in Washington, D.C., and what I found was that games have this powerful effect on people. And so I used a lot of games in the classroom, and it transformed student engagement. And so I thought, I think this can work for everybody. So I left the classroom to try to make some educational games. So I worked with some small companies in Washington, D.C. to make some educational games. And I had a blast. But what I found was I was missing some of those foundational components for game design, because game design is a vast subject area. So I decided to pack up my bags. My husband and I packed up our car with our dog and drove across the country, and we came to Vancouver. A few weeks in, I was thrust into the year at VFS. So some of you may have already learned that the year at VFS is divided into 6 terms. And each term has its own unique classes and memorable assignments. So I'm going to go through each term and just give you an overview of some of the things I remember from each term. So term 1. I got here and didn't really know anybody, and I thought, okay, this, I'd been to undergrad and, I'd graduated from college, and I thought, okay, this will be a piece of cake. People say it's hard, but, I'd totally be fine. Here, first day, we were here at 9 a.m., didn't get home until 10 p.m. And that was a lot of what term 1 is. Because VFS is a 1-year program, they really pack in as much as possible. So that first term, we were getting classes in everything from visual design to scripting to level design to game mechanics to make sure that we had that foundation in game design. One of the biggest projects of term 1 was board games. And this is a lot of people's first introduction into game design. What we did was we first came up with a ton of concepts for board games. And then throughout the 8 weeks, we spent a lot of time figuring out what our rules were going to be, figuring out what the goals of our game was going to be, figuring out how to play the game, how many people play the game, what materials you need, and play testing, lots and lots of play testing. And so this was really our first experience in game design. And the funny thing about board games is it's really a naked game design experience. Because with